Part 15. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 141. Chapter 141. Xia Ying is in love. I said, Master Jun, as long as you post on Weibo and say that I have nothing to do with you, wouldn't it be over? Wouldn't the world be at peace? Why do you have to go around so many detours? After hearing Xia Ying's words, Jun Chenai's face instantly darkened several times. Stupid woman, do you know what you are talking about? Xia Ying felt a little confused when she saw that Jun Chenai's expression was not right. What was wrong with her words? The logic is very clear, why doesn't Jun Chenai understand it? Xia Ying saw that it was difficult to communicate with Jun Chenai, so she left angrily. I hope Jun Chenai can figure it out after some time. At least now, it seemed like he couldn't understand anything Xia Ying said to him. After Xia Ying left, Jun Chenai's lowered hands clenched tightly into fists. After calming down for a while, Jun Chenai took out his mobile phone from his pocket and dialed Rong Si's number. Hello, nephew, what's going on? I'm on my way here. Wrong, didn't you tell me that you didn't go to Xia Ying? Hey, are you jealous? Roll. Just admit it if you like someone. If you have the guts to be ambiguous on Weibo, why don't you have the guts to confess to someone? I said, Master Xiajun, are you too arrogant? Are you suffocated to death if you don't speak? Jun Chenai's face was full of displeasure. I don't know how, but if you don't say it, you will really choke to death. Your little fiancé seems to be in a relationship already. Rong Si deliberately raised the last sound, but did not say it out loud, deliberately whetting Jun Chenai's appetite. What did you say? Jun Chenai frowned. Want to know? I won't tell you. Jun Chenai's face was full of dark lines. Is this guy really his uncle? So childish, no more than 3 years old. Grandnephew, I'll give you a month, if you don't catch your daughter-in-law again. I'll really take action. Rong Si smiled as he spoke, deliberately provoking Jun Chenai's anger. What the hell, I'm too lazy to tell you. Jun Chenai hung up the phone angrily. Rong Si said that Xia Ying was in love? Who is it? Can that stupid woman still have a relationship? Jun Chenai was suddenly startled, and an answer seemed to emerge in his heart. Yu Lingfeng. That day, Jun Chenai clearly felt that Yu Lingfeng was attracted to Xia Ying. It seemed that the stupid woman was indeed attracted to him. No wonder she couldn't listen to what he said to her that day. It seemed that she had completely trusted Yu Lingfeng. Jun Chenai held his forehead helplessly. Why is this woman so stupid? It was said that Yu Lingfeng might be a murderer, but she was still so close to him. Jun Chenai's eyes darkened, as if he had a firm belief in his heart. His eyes suddenly lit up. At this time, the performance has begun. The host is announcing the curtain, and immediately after the principal speaks, the opening song begins. Xia Ying walked backstage silently. At this time, everyone was busy, memorizing lines, memorizing lyrics, relaxing, and applying makeup. It was chaos. She must quickly transform into the Thornbird and go on stage to sing the opening song before the principal's speech ends. Xia Ying picked up her school bag and walked towards the bathroom. The restroom in the auditorium is in the corner and relatively remote. Xia Ying held her school bag and walked quickly. She also had to deal with her makeup, so time was tight. Mu Niankai was nervously searching for the Thornbird in the guest seats, but she did not see it. I thought I could catch a glimpse of the Thornbird today, but it seemed like she was so low-key that she would only show up at the beginning. Thank you, little cutie innocent. Rewards. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 142. Chapter 142. The Thornbird appears. Next, let's invite the famous online singer Thornbird to bring us her latest work, Tommy Love. Before the host could finish his speech, the atmosphere was already boiling. Real or fake, Thornbird, my goddess? Is it a real Thornbird, the one that can move? Oh my god, the school can actually invite the Thornbird. Thornbird, Thornbird, Thornbird. Each student stretched their necks and took out their mobile phones, preparing to record the beautiful silhouette of the Thornbird. And the media reporters who came to the party today felt as if they had found a treasure, and their spirits immediately became high. Originally they thought it would be a waste of time and boring for them to shoot this kind of school news, but now it seems that their news will definitely hit the internet tomorrow. However, when the Thornbird wearing a white dress and a white gauze on her face appeared on the stage, everyone sighed again. Why are you covering your face? What I want to see is the face. Is this the real Thornbird? Is it a hype? Is it true that the Thornbird still can't see people? Wouldn't the Thornbird also die in the light of day? Xia Ying took a deep breath and did not make a sound. She just sat quietly in front of the piano and placed her 10 slender jade fingers on the keys. When the audience saw this, they held their breath. Whether it is a real Thornbird, you will know by hearing her sing. The timbre cannot be completely imitated. Although I can't read her face, Xia Ying's graceful figure still surprised many people. Because of this, many people are looking forward to the true appearance of the Thornbird. The actors backstage were secretly watching the Thornbird behind the curtain, and Mu Niankai's eyes shone. The Thornbird is so beautiful, although you can't see the face, there's no way to hide the temperament. Mu Niankai looked like a girl and exclaimed. Sun Han nodded in agreement. When the first note of the piano sounded, everyone was already immersed in it. Xia Ying started learning piano at the age of 6. She has a level 10 piano, and her skills are not limited. Even the art students couldn't help but praise the melody at the beginning. As soon as Xia Ying opened her mouth, the classmates below opened their mouths in surprise. This is the Thornbird. The 100% original voice is hers. While the classmates were surprised that it was the real person, they were also impressed by the Thornbird's live singing skills, which were almost the same as what they heard on the mobile phone. This singing skill is really amazing. Hey brother Chennai, do you also like Thornbirds? Mu Niankai turned around and found that Jun Chennai was also crowding in front to watch the Thornbirds playing the piano and singing. I'm just taking a look. Jun Chennai curled his lips. He just wanted to see what such a talented singer was like. Although you can't see your face, your stunning temperament is unparalleled. After Xia Ying finished her performance, she bowed to the audience, and the audience immediately burst into thunderous applause. Xia Ying then turned around and stepped off the stage. Mu Niankai immediately picked up her notebook and pen and ran towards her. Thornbird, Thornbird, can you sign your name for me? Mu Niankai's eyes shone with starlight. Others saw this and ran over to ask for signatures. Xia Ying saw that there were too many people, so she waved her hands and turned to leave. Mu Niankai chased after her again and said, Xia Ying asked me to come to you for an autograph. She said you would sign it. Although Mu Niankai still doesn't have high hopes, she still has to give it a try. After all, Xia Ying said the Thornbird would come, and she really came. Thanks to the little cutie Ying Tying for the reward. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 143. Chapter 143. Only I can protect her. Xia Ying paused, then turned around to sign Mu Niankai's name, and then left quickly. Mu Niankai was holding the autograph book and felt suffocated for a moment. Looking down at the signature on the book, wasn't she dreaming? It's really a Thornbird. Halo, she should say something more, such as she likes her so much, she will always support her, she should continue to work hard, etc. She just shamelessly asked for an autograph and then said nothing, crying, "What a failure." Muniankai was instantly surrounded by her classmates, while Jun Chennai walked through the crowd and followed the thorn bird. He wanted to get to know her. There are not many people who can be admired by Jun Chennai, and Thornbird is the first one in recent years. Jun Chennai quickly followed the thorn bird, following the direction of the thorn bird. Was he going to the bathroom? Jun Chennai turned a corner and was suddenly blocked by a sudden arm. Jun Chennai raised his eyes and saw Yu Lingfeng with an indifferent face. "Step aside." Jun Chennai said coldly. "Are you following me?" Yu Lingfeng spoke coldly. "No, get out of the way." Jun Chennai was anxious. He wanted to take a detour, but Yu Lingfeng kept blocking his way. It was obvious that he didn't want him to chase the thorn bird. Jun Chennai was angry because of this. "What do you want to do?" "Nothing to do, just a little effort," Yu Lingfeng said calmly. Jun Chennai lost his temper. He already had a bad impression of Yu Lingfeng, and now Yu Lingfeng seemed to be deliberately making things difficult for him, which made him feel even more uncomfortable. "I tell you, Yu Lingfeng, stay away from my fiancée." Jun Chennai saw that the thorn bird had gone away, so he met Yu Lingfeng's gaze and changed the topic. Yu Lingfeng snorted, "She is free to get close to whomever she wants. Don't think that I don't know who you are. Xia Ying is stupid, but I'm not stupid. If you dare to hurt her, I will never let you go." Jun Chennai clenched his fist and threatened. Yu Lingfeng said expressionlessly, "The real danger to her is you. If you care about her, stay away from her." "What are you talking about?" Jun Chennai glared at Yu Lingfeng with clouded eyes. "Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, you know it yourself," Yu Lingfeng continued. "A person like you who has had to hide your identity since childhood to survive, how can you protect her?" Yu Lingfeng seemed to have detonated the most vulnerable corner of Jun Chennai's heart. While Jun Chennai was angry, his face suddenly turned pale. "Xia Ying is the safest only if she is by my side." After Yu Lingfeng finished speaking, he turned around and left. Jun Chennai froze on the spot, looking dazed, with his head lowered. What Yu Lingfeng had just said kept echoing in his mind. People like him, who have had to hide their identity since childhood to survive, really don't have the capital to protect Xia Ying. However, the person he is now is no longer the person he used to be. Jun Chennai raised his head and looked at Yu Lingfeng's leaving figure, his eyes widened angrily. "Yu Lingfeng, just watch it, I will use my capital to protect my people." After Xia Ying completed her transformation in the bathroom, she hurried out. She had to prepare to deal with Xia Menjian. As soon as Xia Ying turned a corner, she bumped head-on into someone's arms and ran straight into his arms. Xia Ying rubbed her head in pain and looked up. "Yu Lingfeng. Singing well." Yu Lingfeng raised his lips and smiled softly, showing a charming smile. "Thank you, little cutie. Long-term illness leads to loneliness and addiction. Female sign, please give me more advice for the rest of my life. The road to at heaven star Lu, stupid and understood, please give me a reward. I guess you're going to call me Kevin again, so I'll run away first. Good night everyone." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 144. Chapter 144. I knew it was you as soon as I heard it. Xia Ying opened her eyes wide in surprise and looked at Yu Lingfeng in disbelief. "Even when I spoke, my lips trembled. What did you say?" Yu Lingfeng chuckled and raised his hand to touch the top of Xia Ying's head. "Don't worry, they don't know." Xia Ying opened her mouth blankly. How did you know? Is Yu Lingfeng a monster? Why does Xia Ying feel that nothing can escape his eyes? "Because I have heard the thorn bird sing." Yu Lingfeng Jiun said calmly. "Then what?" I knew it was you as soon as I heard it. Yu Lingfeng smiled slyly. You are such a monster. Xia Ying felt that she was frightened. Can you hear this? Although they are similar, there are many people with similar voices. Is Yu Lingfeng so sure it is her? Monster. Yu Lingfeng thought to himself, well, for them, maybe forget it. Follow me. After Yu Lingfeng finished speaking, he pulled Xia Ying's wrist and led her towards the backstage. Xia Ying followed him blankly. Yu Lingfeng, where are you taking me? If you don't hurry up, you will be suspected. Yu Lingfeng's tone was calm. It's true that she disappeared for a long time. The magic show is about to start, and Xia Ying has to hurry up and arrange everything. After tonight, Xia Menjian really couldn't stay in Guanyang Middle School any longer. Xia Ying couldn't help but smile slightly when she thought of this. Yu Lingfeng and Xia Ying appeared backstage together. When they were about to enter, Xia Ying stopped Yu Lingfeng. Well, Yu Lingfeng, you'd better not go in. Xia Ying said weakly. She knew without thinking that once Yu Lingfeng entered, it would definitely cause a commotion. Therefore, Yu Lingfeng had better not go in. Yu Lingfeng's face darkened, and he took Xia Ying's hand without any explanation and walked directly into the backstage. As soon as Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng appeared, they immediately attracted everyone's attention. Everyone opened their eyes wide and looked at Yu Lingfeng in dumbfoundedness. Some people have seen the scene of Yu Lingfeng picking up Xia Ying from school at the school gate before. Even though the distance was far away, they were still impressed by Yu Lingfeng's stunning temperament. That blurry face was so handsome, but now that I saw it up close, it was so handsome that I was suffocating. How come such a person never debuted as a star? Will your absolute become red? Mu Niankai and the others swallowed silently. If she were Xia Ying, she would not want to get entangled with Jun Chenai. Obviously your boyfriend is more handsome, okay. Sure enough, she had misunderstood Xia Ying before. She cried, how could Xia Ying's life be so good? My boyfriend is so handsome and perfect, okay. I'm telling you, Xia Ying, why did you suddenly disappear? It turns out you were on a date with your boyfriend. At this time, someone made a joke. Wow, this is really Xia Ying's boyfriend, isn't he so handsome? He's so handsome, isn't he? Woo woo woo, Xia Ying is so lucky. Xia Ying smiled awkwardly, looking at the current chaotic scene. It was exactly as she expected. I go first. Yu Lingfeng said to Xia Ying. As soon as Yu Lingfeng opened his mouth, these girls stopped asking for anything, and they all seemed to have lost their souls. Xia Ying nodded. Yu Lingfeng rubbed her head and turned to leave. At this time, someone's face in the corner has turned black to carbon. Thanks to the little cutie and understanding for the reward. Yu Lingfeng likes to cause trouble more and more. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 145. Chapter 145, Reap the Consequences. Xia Ying stood there with black lines on her face. Did Yu Lingfeng just want to come over and declare sovereignty? Now, everyone knows that he is her boyfriend. Xia Ying originally used it as an excuse to deal with Mu Niankai last time, but she didn't expect that she would jump into the hole she dug with tears in her eyes. Xia Menjian's heart was completely cold when she saw Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng together. This time, her hatred for Xia Ying increased even more. Xia Menjian clenched her fist and said to Mu Niankai, Sister Niankai, we can take action. Mu Niankai finally recovered and nodded dully, okay. Xia Menjian said, Sister Nianqi, you will find a way to lead Xia Ying to the warehouse later. This is the key. Xia Menjian secretly handed Mu Niankai a key, and then said, I'm going to get Senior Hanzage's prop box. After handling it, we'll push it out. Mu Niankai nodded, and then the two of them split up. Mu Niankai walked towards Xia Ying. When she saw Xiamenjian disappeared, she said, "Let's go to the warehouse now and ambush Xiamenjian." Xia Ying nodded, and with a casual glance, she saw an inexplicable necklace on Mu Niankai's neck. That necklace is quite ugly. In fact, the pendant is also a dark ball, and it looks like it can be opened. Xia Ying frowned and asked, "What is this?" Mu Niankai lowered her head, raised her pendant, and said with a smile, "My goddess's signature is inside." Ah! Xia Ying is puzzled. You know? Originally Thornbird wasn't going to give me an autograph, but then I said you asked me to ask for an autograph, and she actually gave me an autograph. It felt like I was dreaming. So, I gave her. The signature is stuffed into this pendant. I want to carry it with me and move closer to my goddess. Xia Ying swallowed and said nothing. She just went to the warehouse with Mu Niankai. Mu Niankai was very excited along the way, while Xia Ying remained silent. If Mu Niankai knew that she had once targeted the so-called goddess in her mouth, and now she was walking side by side with her, I don't know what she would think. Xia Ying, Mu Niankai and Mu Niankai's girls were waiting in every corner of the warehouse without turning on the lights, just waiting for Xiamenjian to fall into the trap. Not long after the ambush, the warehouse door opened. Xiamenjian walked in and closed the door. Xiamenjian came over with a prop box and turned on the light. As soon as she turned around, her eyesight went dark and her head was covered by a snakeskin bag. "Ah, what are you doing, Wu?" Xiamenjian's mouth was covered, and a group of people scrambled to clean her up quickly, and then threw her into the prop box that Xiamenjian brought. The box was closed, Xiamenjian's mouth was sealed with tape, her hands were tied behind her back, and her feet were restrained, so she couldn't move at all. "You go ahead and push it out," Xia Ying said calmly. "How about you?" Mu Niankai asked. "I definitely can't show up. I'll hide for a while. You can just tell Hanzija that Xiamenjian went to the toilet. Hanzija is not that suspicious and will believe it." "Good." Mu Niankai nodded, and then pushed the prop box out. There are wheels at the bottom of the prop box, so it is effortless to push it. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 146. Chapter 146. Reap the Consequences. Mu Niankai and the others pushed the magic box to Hanzija and said, "The next step is up to you." Hanzija nodded, "Don't worry." Xiamenjian and Hanzija said that the last time she changed clothes and was broadcast live was all framed by Xia Ying. Hanzija's heart ached when he saw Xiamenjian crying so hard, so this time Hanzija also risked his life. He could no longer see his beloved being hurt. Xia Ying must be eliminated. By the way, where is Menjian? Hanzija didn't see Xiamenjian, so he was a little confused. "Menjian has gone to the toilet and will be here soon. You should hurry up and get on stage," Mu Niankai urged. "Good." Hanzija nodded and pushed his magic box towards the stage. Hanzija's magic trick is to transform a living person into a living person, and he has a female partner. First, the girl walked into the cabinet next to her. Hanzija locked the cabinet tightly inside and out, making it airtight. Then the girl will appear in the magic box, but this time, it won't be the girl who appears in the magic box. Hanzija smiled slyly at the audience. "Wait a minute, it's time to witness the miracle." At this time, Hanzija clearly felt something moving in the magic box. Hanzija sneered, "Xia Ying, you brought this on yourself. If you hadn't framed my Menjian, we wouldn't be here today." The audience waited with bated breath, their necks stretched out. Hanzija unlocked the box, and in an instant, the magic box collapsed in all directions. He was naked, his hands and feet were tied, and his mouth was covered with transparent tape. He was twitching from crying, and Xia's face was red. Menjian appeared in the audience's field of vision. The audience was in an uproar, with people holding mobile phones, screaming, and some naughty boys whistling with ill intentions. Holy shit, is this really a miracle? What a big change. The school is so open, ha ha ha, it even gives us benefits. Ouch, isn't that Xia Menjian? Xia Menjian? The one who changed clothes during the last live broadcast? Damn it, that woman wants to be famous and wants to be famous like crazy. I definitely want to be famous. Last time Xia Menjian and Xia Ying had a fight, Hanzija had been helping Xia Menjian, which shows how close the relationship between the two is. Tisk, 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 these days, I really want to be famous. Don't worry about morals. In the guest room, the school leaders had dark faces, and the media reporters were taking pictures. This is Thornbird and, now it's hard for their news not to become famous. Hanzija panicked immediately. What on earth is going on? Could it be that they were plotted against by Xia Ying? Hanzija immediately took off his magic cloak and covered Xia Menjian's body. At this time, the curtain quickly fell, and Hanzija hurriedly carried Xia Menjian back to the backstage. The actors backstage were also panicked, and the host didn't know how to smooth things over. If something like this happens, Guanjiang's reputation will be ruined. At this time, Teacher Su came on stage and apologized to everyone, saying that he would investigate clearly. Then, the show will continue. While Hanzija carried Xia Menjian backstage, Xia Menjian kept sobbing and crying. She still hadn't thought clearly about why Mu Niankai suddenly hooked up with Xia Ying, and also, she was so cruel. Hanzija raised his eyes and saw Xia Ying leaning on the side and staring at them slowly, and suddenly he gritted his teeth in anger. Thanks to the little cutie Bison for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 147. Chapter 147. Come and enlighten this fool. Xia, you are so despicable. Hanzija roared. I'm mean. Xia Ying sneered twice and approached Hanzija. Speaking of despicable, this evil plan was the idea of your fresh and refined Xiao Balian. That's because Menjian really can't stand you anymore. You framed her over and over again. You deserve it. Hanzija then defended Xia Menjian. At this time, Xia Menjian wrapped herself in Hanzija's magic cloak and hurried to the dressing room to get dressed. You haven't woken up until today? You are really stupid. Xia Ying crossed her arms, feeling helpless. Mu Niankai, come here. Xia Ying turned to Mu Niankai and said. Mu Niankai walked over. Hanzija, this plan was originally planned by Xia Menjian and Mu Niankai to deal with me, but do you know why Mu Niankai switched sides in the end? Xia Ying turned to Mu Niankai and said, Mu Niankai, come and enlighten this idiot. Mu Niankai smiled lightly and said, Senior Hanzija, you are really stupider than I was before. What are you talking about? Hanzija is still stubborn. From the beginning to the end, your little white lotus has never done anything good. First of all, she came up with the idea of changing clothes and being live broadcast to frame Xia Ying. It's just that Xia Ying saw through it, and then she paid it back to her. Mu Niankai continued, Xia Ying doesn't even bother to fight with her. If she hadn't committed suicide, what would she have ended up like today? By the way, the reason why I treated Xia Ying like that was because she took advantage of her. That girl is not a good person, why can't you understand? Xia Ying nodded and added, the last time Xia Menjian was beaten, she asked for it herself. She also destroyed her own legs because she tried to frame her but failed. Mu Niankai raised her hand weakly, I can testify to this, because I told Xia Menjian to burn a scar on Xia Ying's hand, and I believed she would not betray me. Xia Ying glanced at her and said, did you instigate it? Muniankai waved her hands quickly. I just asked her to burn a scar, just one scar is enough. I didn't expect that she would pour hot chicken soup on your hand. As Muniankai spoke, she glanced at Xia Ying's hand guiltily. Fortunately, nothing was injured. Muniankai also studied music and musical instruments, so she also knew how important hands were to people like them. Hanzija has turned to stone. Why did Xiamenjian, who was so simple and kind in his heart, turn into a woman like a snake and scorpion in their mouths? He can't accept it. At this time, Xiamenjian changed her clothes and walked towards Hanzija. A face immediately covered with tears. Zija, let's go, I have no shame to see anyone now. Xia Ying and Muniankai looked at each other with disgust. Knowing how much harm this would do to a girl, she actually came up with such an idea to punish Xia Ying. Now you are reaping the consequences, who can blame you? Menjian, let me ask you. Hanzija's lips were trembling, and he had not yet recovered from the shock. Did you injure your legs yourself? Also, was it your own idea to frame Xia Ying when she changed her clothes and was broadcast live? Xia Menjian opened her mouth and said in surprise, Zija, how can you doubt me? The person who understands me best in this world is you, how can you do this? As Xia Menjian spoke, she buried her head and burst into tears. Thank you little cutie, look up, the sun is still warm for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 148. Chapter 148. How many faces does this woman have? Muniankai on the side rolled her eyes. Damn, Xiamenjian, you are so shameless. You were clearly planning to splash Xia Ying with chicken soup, and you accidentally injured yourself after you were discovered. Now you are still passing the blame on her to someone else. You framed me. Xiamenjian retorted, and then looked at Hanzija pitifully. Zija, they are in the same group. They all framed me and wanted to cause trouble for me, Wu. Muniankai was furious just looking at it, and she especially wanted to punch Xiamenjian. Damn it, how many faces does this woman have? There was one pair at Xia Ying's place, and one at her place. So it turned out that there was another pair at Hanzija's place. Xiamenjian just thought that since Muniankai had joined forces with Xia Ying, Hanzija was the only one left in her camp. She can no longer live without Hanzija, otherwise, she will really have nothing. Hanzija is still a little undecided. If it is not true, Muniankai and Xiamenjian were so good friends before, and they would not join forces with Xia Ying overnight. However, Hanzija still misses the past friendship. In those years, what happened to the innocent and kind-hearted Xiamenjian? Why did it become like this? Hanzija felt that he no longer recognized the person in front of him. Damn it, Hanzija, is there something wrong with you? Why are you still defending a woman like this? Muniankai was already impatient. When she saw that Hanzija was still planning to defend this white lotus, she felt even more unhappy. Feel better. I think you are so stupid. You have ruined a good person like Xia Ying. I think you deserve it. If you are willing to fight or suffer, I don't even bother to care about you, miss. Muniankai simply rolled her eyes, turned around and left. So as not to worry about it? Xia Ying remained silent. At least after tonight, Xiamenjian would disappear from Guangyang. Unless her face has become thick as a wall, it is impossible to stay any longer. Hanzija stood there, lowered his head, clenched his fists, and said nothing. The moment Xia Ying turned around, her cell phone rang. It was the housekeeper's call. Xia Ying walked to the corner and answered the call. Miss, I have already done what you asked me to do. From now on, the money Xiamenjian remits will be automatically transferred to your card, and the other party will no longer receive the remittance. And Xiamenjian's mobile phone will still, she won't find out when she receives a text message from the bank. Okay, thank you, Uncle Butler. Xia Ying raised her lips and smiled softly, then hung up the phone. She wanted to see if Xiao Yanhong would lose her temper if she had no financial resources. When the time comes, she will catch them all, mother and daughter, and stay away from the Xia family completely. Hey, cutie. Xia Ying was startled when she heard this voice, and turned around. She saw a sunny smiling face. Wrong Ci. What are you doing here? I'm going to perform on stage soon. Xia Ying said. Of course I know, so I'm here to cheer you up. Wrong Ci smiled sweetly. Thank you, but I have to get ready. Xia Ying turned around silently. Why do you feel like you've seen a ghost when you see me? Why do you keep avoiding me? The words are incomprehensible. Xia Ying was helpless, because this guy had been too enthusiastic from the moment they met, which made her a little bit overwhelmed. Wrong Ci was always smiling, looking like a cup of warm milk tea, harmless to humans and animals. However, Xia Ying always felt a little weird, probably because he seemed to always want to get close to her. Thanks to the little cutie's look up, the sun is still warm and Chu Yingmo for the rewards. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 149. Chapter 149 How can I make a robot like you? Because I told her to stay away from you. At this time, Jun Chaniai's sudden words interrupted what Xia Ying was about to say. Wrong Ci raised his eyes and met Jun Chaniai's eyes. Nephew, what do you mean? It means that it means nothing if you do this, and people have no interest in you at all, so don't be so sentimental. Jun Chaniai said. What nonsense are you talking about? I am not concerned about my future niece-in-law. Wrong Ci said with a smile, looking at Jun Chaniai meaningfully. Jun Chaniai's face darkened. Wrong Kai, you are sick. Forget it, let's not talk anymore, I'm looking forward to your performance. Wrong Ci finished speaking with a smile, then turned and left. Xia Ying shook her head helplessly. Just as she was about to leave, she was stopped by Jun Chaniai. Hey, wait a minute. Jun Chaniai called Xia Ying with an indifferent expression. What's up? Xia Ying looked up at Jun Chaniai. Jun Chaniai pursed his lips, paused for a while, and then asked, Are you really with Yu Lingfeng? Xia Ying was stunned by his question and hesitated for a long time, not knowing how to answer. But then I changed my mind and decided to just cut off contact with Jun Chaniai. In case someone spreads their scandal all day long, she can't control the people online, but she can always control the people in real life. Yeah, what's the problem? Jun Chaniai's face suddenly turned dark. Why don't you listen to my advice? Because you have no basis at all. I'll find out the evidence and show it to you. Jun Chaniai clenched his fists in confusion and said firmly. Up to you. Before that, you'd better protect yourself and don't die too early. Jun Chaniai's last words sounded a bit angry, and he left angrily after saying that. Xia Ying twitched the corner of her mouth. Who is this guy cursing? After the performance, it was finally the turn of the stage play. Actors such as Xia Ying and Jun Chaniai came on stage, and the audience below became attentive. At this party, what they are most looking forward to is the longest stage play. After all, the male and female protagonists are chosen by the whole school, and they are the ones who best meet each of their expectations. Yu Lingfeng was indifferently watching Jun Chaniai and Xia Ying play together. Yu Lingfeng looked calm on the surface, with an untroubled face, but only 11 who was sitting next to him, knew that. His master's heart was in turmoil, and 11 felt that he could feel the cold air seeping out of every pore of Yu Lingfeng. Wrong Ci looked sideways and saw Yu Lingfeng and 11 sitting in an inconspicuous corner. Who is the person next to you, Lingfeng? Rong Si said to himself, his eyes darkened, he seemed to have seen that person more than once. Rong Si thought like this and secretly took a photo. As soon as he put down his phone, he found that Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju were both turning their heads to look at him. Rong Si was stunned, could this be discovered? So far apart. Yu Lingfeng understands that the person next to him is not simple at all. Could it be another superhuman? Looking at it this way, this matter is becoming more and more interesting. Rong Si couldn't help but curl her lips and chuckle. Zihu clenched his fist, stared at Rong Si, and said to Yu Lingfeng, who had an indifferent face, "Master, that person seems to have a ghost." "I know." Yu Lingfeng's tone was indifferent. "It seems that I have taken a liking to you, my master." Yu Lingfeng's face darkened, and he glanced sideways at 11 Ju, his eyes suddenly becoming extremely cold. West Ju swallowed his saliva. Did he say something wrong? He did the same, he was just guessing. Yu Lingfeng sighed, with a sense of powerlessness on his face, "How could I make a robot like you?" Thanks to the little cuties WGG, look up, the sun is still warm, and lazy ice cream for their rewards. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 150. Chapter 150 Is his master jealous? Zihu felt cold all over and said quickly, "I don't want to be reformed." Yu Lingfeng sighed again, "Why did I choose you from the 4 robots?" Thinking about it this way, West Ju is worse than Dong Ju, who is a dramatist, Nan Ju who daydreams, and Bei Ju who is in the late stage of the second disease. Yu Lingfeng suddenly felt a little pity for those half-finished products. He estimated that if they were modified in time, they would be more reliable than 11 Ju. Seeing this, 11 Ju quickly changed the subject. "Master, does that person still want to repair it?" "He is not as simple a person as you think," Yu Lingfeng said thoughtfully. "Master, do you know him?" Zihu was surprised. Yu Lingfeng remained silent. Zihu glanced at the man again. He was quite handsome and looked like he was probably not an ordinary person. At this time, several acts of the stage play have been performed. "Hey, I heard that the next scene is Xia Ying and Jun Chennai dancing, it's like a mask party, I'm so looking forward to it. I went to see the rehearsal, and the dance was so beautiful, just like the prince and princess in the fairy tale. Jun Chennai and Xia Ying are a good match. I don't know what the mentality of the trolls on the internet is like. I think they are quite good. They are a good match. Even if Jun Chennai is more famous than Xia Ying now, it is because Xia Ying has not come back. If he comes back, he will definitely be popular. Yes, I think they are a good match." The girls in front were chatting happily. 11 Ju swallowed silently, and Yu Lingfeng's face turned dark several times. Just when 11 Ju wanted the classmates in front of him to be quiet, Yu Lingfeng suddenly stood up and walked out from 11 Ju's side. 11 Ju asked hurriedly, "Master, where are you going?" Yu Lingfeng did not answer, but Zihu had already seen that Yu Lingfeng was walking towards the backstage. AI. His master is jealous and wants to steal his wife? When Yu Lingfeng came backstage, the stage had just ended and the actors were about to put on masks and change clothes and start to go on stage. At this time, a voiceover was explaining on the stage. Yu Lingfeng went straight to the men's dressing room, where the actors were changing. Yu Lingfeng snapped his fingers. At this time stopped, not even a speck of dust moved. Yu Lingfeng opened the curtains of the single rooms one by one, preparing to find Jun Chennai. After finding it, Yu Lingfeng slowly changed into Jun Chennai's performance clothes, put on Jun Chennai's mask and wig, and then locked Jun Chennai in a cubicle. Yu Lingfeng took out a small chip from his pocket and placed it in Jun Chennai's palm. The chip melted immediately, and then Yu Lingfeng walked out. After packing everything, Yu Lingfeng walked to the center of the room, snapped his fingers again, and time resumed. As for Jun Chennai, he is currently asleep. The actors changed their equipment, and when they saw Yu Lingfeng wearing a mask and wig, they couldn't help but say, "Young Master Jun, you are so fast." Yu Lingfeng didn't say anything. He just walked behind the curtain with them and waited for the curtain to open. Xia Ying hurriedly ran to Yu Lingfeng and stood next to her. She was panting. It seemed that she was in a hurry to change her clothes. "Hey, Jun Chennai, please don't step on my feet later." Xia Ying remembers that Jun Chennai often stepped on her feet during rehearsals. That guy looked quite capable, and he even had uncoordinated limbs during the pas de deux and kept stepping on her. Yu Lingfeng responded softly. Xia Ying frowned. Did she hear it wrong or something? Why did Jun Chennai's voice just now sound so much like Yu Lingfeng's? "Thank you, little cutie. Huan Shang and Long Summer has branches. What are the rewards?" The male protagonist's second superpower is activated. End of this chapter.